Freedom Now movement, hear me. We are requesting all citizens to move into Washington, to go by plane, by car, bus, any way that you can get there. Walk if necessary. We are pushing for jobs, housing, desegregated schools. This is an urgent request. Please join.
The American Broadcasting Company continues its coverage of the March on Washington.
It's impossible to get a precise estimate of the crowd here, but it's certainly well over 25,000 now and swelling fast.
To congratulate all of you on the orderly, dignified manner in which you executed the march from the Washington Memorial. You have already told the world what we are here for and shown them by your courage, determination, and your order that we mean business. I give you now the Freedom Singers.
Thank you. And since we're all in this movement together, we'd like to ask you to raise your voices and sing with us and clap along with us. We shall not, we shall not be moved. We shall not, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree, that's the planet without.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Lynn Chandler, and others, and a song of their own.
Americans, we are gathered here in the largest demonstration in the history of this nation. Let the nation and the world know the meaning of our numbers. We are not a pressure group. We are not an organization or a group of organizations. We are not a mob. We are the advance guard of a massive moral revolution for jobs and freedom. The March on Washington is not the climax of our struggle, but a new beginning, not only for the Negro, but for all Americans who thirst for freedom and a better life. In great tribute to the role the Negro woman has played in the cause of freedom, equality, and human dignity, I now call on Miss Daisy Bates, that great champion of Negro rights and freedom, to give awards to Diane Nash Bevel, Miss Herbert Lee, Miss Rosa Parks, and Miss Gloria Richardson. Miss Daisy Bates.
Mr. Randolph, Frank. women of this country, Mr. Randolph, pledge to you, to Martin Luther King, Roy Wilkins, and all of you fighting for civil liberties, that we will join hands with you as women of this country. Rosa Gregg, my president, Dorothy Height, the National Council of Negro Women, the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the Methodist Church women, all the women, pledge that we will join hands with you. We will kneel in, we will sit in until we can eat in any corner in the United States.
For many years now, the National Council of Churches and most of its constituent communions have said all the right things about civil rights. But as of August 28, 1963, we have achieved neither a non-segregated church nor a non-segregated society. And it is partly because the churches of America have failed to put their own houses in order that 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, 175 years after the adoption of the Constitution, 173 years after the adoption of the Bill of Rights, the United States of America still faces a racial crisis.
We will now be favored with a solo, Miss Marian Anderson.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the big round world in his hands. He's got the wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
We march today for jobs and freedom, but we have nothing to be proud of. For hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here, but they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. My friends, let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. By and large, American politics is dominated by politicians who build their career on immoral compromise and ally themselves an open form of political, economic, and social exploitation. There are exceptions, of course. We salute those. But what political leader can stand up and say, my party is a party of principles? For the party of Kennedy is also the party of Eastland. The party of Jarvis is also the party of Goldwater. Where is our party? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington? We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We are tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom, and we want it now.
This rally is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a great moral crusade to arouse America to the unfinished work of American democracy. So let this be the beginning of that great crusade to mobilize the moral conscience of America so that we can win freedom and justice and equality and first-class citizen for every American, not just for certain Americans, not only in certain parts of America, but in every part of America, from Boston to Birmingham, from New York to New Orleans, and from Michigan to Mississippi. Thank you.
I am glad to report to you that the official count is that we have over 200,000 Negro and white workers. And they are still coming into Washington.
The message that I shall give to you today was written by Jim Farmer from a Plaquemine jail. And I shall quote his message now. In the age of thermonuclear bombs, violence is outmoded to the solution of the problems of men. It is a truth that needs to be shouted loudly. And no one else anywhere in the world is saying it as well as the American Negroes through their nonviolent direct action.
Brother Randolph, fellow Americans, the National Urban League is honored to be a participant in this historic occasion. Our presence here not only reflects the civil rights community's increased respect for and awareness of the Urban League's role, but most important, it says, and I hope loud and clear, that while intelligence, maturity, and strategy dictate that as civil rights agencies we use different methods, we are all united as never before on the goal of first-class citizenship for all Americans now.
Where is a man, white or Negro, whose heart has not been touched by the revelation in the past few months of racial sores among the people of our country? We are gathered a long 100 years after Lincoln declared slavery at an end in the United States. Yet slavery is all too close to us as we demonstrate for equality and freedom today.
I want to thank all of you for coming here today because you saved me from being a liar. I told them you would be here. We have come asking the enactment of legislation that will affirm the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that will place the resources and the honor of the government of all the people behind the Pledge of Equality and the Declaration of Independence.
When I was the rabbi of the Jewish community in Berlin under the Hitler regime, I learned many things. The most important thing that I learned in my life, and under those tragic circumstances, is that bigotry and hatred are not the most urgent problems. The most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and the most tragic problem is silence.
At this time, I have the honor to present to you the moral leader of our nation, a great dedicated man, philosopher of a non-violent system of behavior in seeking to bring about social change for the advancement of justice and freedom and human dignity. I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Friends, at 5 o'clock today, the leaders whom you have heard will go to President Kennedy to carry the demands of this revolution. It is now time for you to act. I will read each demand, and you will respond to it. The first demand is that we have effective civil rights legislation, no compromise, no filibuster, and that it include public accommodations, decent housing, integrated education, FEPC, and the right to vote. What do you say?